Welcome to episode 15, the Sack Baseball Podcast. We are back. At it. We are burning the midnight candle after a fantastic interview with old Danny Splooge. Came once and now he's talking to us 25 years later with his son. Not going to lie, if you guys see the Thursday episode coming out with Danny and you look at it and say, I don't know who this guy is, I have never heard of him, give it a chance. He's a college player, played at UNLV and UNT, still has some standing baseball records at UNT. So definitely tune in to hear about that. And
good and bad.
Yeah, good and bad, as well as he's played with some pretty high profile guys that have made all the way to the majors, won World Series and stuff. So
broke home run records.
He's a great perspective on the game and we appreciate him coming out. But in the meantime, what did you guys think of the college baseball action this weekend? Because it was kind of like, it was much different than last weekend where so many ranked teams lost. There was a pretty wide variety of teams that took care of business and teams that definitely took us by surprise, I would say. You guys want me to just hop into the midweek recaps or excuse me, the weekend recap or any first thoughts to share?
I thought rankings were pretty easy to make this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's just talk about the rankings, and you guys can talk about our conglomerate rankings. Jars, did that Reddit user post the composite rankings yet? Were you able to find them?
I did not see them. No, I also have not been on Reddit today, so
that's fine. I'll go looking for them if you want to talk about.
Tennessee's number one again.
Whoa!
Who would have guessed?
Okay, I want to actually say. Okay, so you know how we started our contender pretender segment? It was literally because at the beginning of the year, I called Tennessee a pretender.
Yeah, you're the reason.
And that is probably
and how the fuck is that working?
That is probably one of
37-3 bender.
That's one of the worst calls I've ever made in my life.
That could be the worst call on this podcast.
They're literally having history right now.
Stopped making TikToks because it was just awesome when you made those OU predictions for the Shriners Classic and they just blew up. And then if we can go back and get that, Tennessee's a contender.
Man. That's insane, man. This is probably the best year a college team's ever had, isn't it? Statistically.
No,
remember, it's close. It's close.
We talked about that.
The record is held by Arizona State with a 64-4 season.
64
is that with Barry?
4.
Is that with Barry Bonds?
I looked it up earlier. I don't remember exactly what year. 64-4, but they did not win the national.
That is a shitload of games.
So which is even worse because they had to at least lose 2 in the College World Series.
Exactly.
Oh,
Jesus.
Oof, that's brutal. That is brutal. Yeah. So Tennessee,
I like our
rankings. Check this one off the list. I don't have to do it during the recap.
I mean, who the fuck can stop these guys, dude?
Tennessee. So they're it's the best conference start that any SAC team has had since 1959 when the Tennessee Volunteers went 16-1 to start the season. So they're broke their own record for best SAC starts. So recall, right? Arkansas was so good last year; they won all those series in a row, but they didn't start this hot.
Yeah, no. The only thing I don't like about our rankings is good old Vandy boys.
Yeah,
and how they're at.
Yeah,
that's probably my only complaint.
I'll agree with that because I 100% take fault for that, having them at 6. Not real sure what I was doing.
And then Wofford sneaking in at 17, even though we've had Mercer in the 20s for a lot of time.
Wofford, what are you talking about sneaking in?
Wofford sucks. I hate Wofford. They ruined this Mercer podcast.
Somebody didn't watch baseball this weekend.
I would actually like to take this time to accept my apologies.
You may also accept your award for the it was a rough pick'em for everybody, including Jowers, but he was by far and away. Let me pull up the results right here.
I'm pretty sure we all
4 points.
Jowers also said afterward, he's like, God, I'm tired. And I just picked Wofford, and now I have to back it up.
Yeah, the bottom
No
was
proof.
brought up by Suges and Brennan, who each only got one pick correctly. Suges,
Please tell me it wasn't my 1 point.
No, yeah, you had two. You got Notre Dame right, and Brennan correctly picked Auburn. I got Auburn and Virginia, so we finished at 2, 4, and 6. Eric nailed Virginia and Louisville for a total of 6. Benji was in second place, runner up, picking 3 out of 6. So Notre Dame, Virginia, Auburn for 8. And then DJ did miss out on the 6-point Wake Forest prediction, but mainly because of the TCU pick. We had a 5, and every other person picking Mercer at 6 or 5. And he had Wofford, was definitely the swing pick right there.
Was he the lowest scoring winner so far?
For sure. Yes, without a doubt.
But what was the last thing you said in that, Brennan? The lowest scoring what?
Yeah, you won.
Winner.
Congratulations.
Okay, sweet. No,
Congratulations.
no. Have you won? Doesn't seem like it.
All righty.
Let's talk about the fantasy scores this week.
Yeah, I scored more than everybody combined.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
not fucking new.
If you're still playing fantasy college baseball, you're a freaking idiot. So that's all I have to say about that.
We've moved on to the playoffs in our made up fantasy league because we wanted to do a full double elimination bracket with 6 people, which takes for fucking ever. Brendan unfortunately took 2 L's in a row, got bounced. TJ just got eliminated at the hands of Eric, unfortunately. Benji is undefeated so far in the postseason. Though didn't you take 1 loss in the regular season the very last week?
6-1.
Yeah.
Last week.
So Benji's sitting pretty. Eric and Sujas are playing in an elimination game this week, and then I'll play the winner of that game, and that will also be an elimination. And that winner will face Benji. I have to beat him twice. So good fucking luck. Anyway, any other thoughts on rankings? I can't seem to find anything.
I know it wasn't anyone else's, but I like Davidson being in our first 5 out.
That was on me. I had them at 25, 24.
Yeah. I think I had them at 20, 24, 23, something like that.
I wanted to put them in my 25, but I just couldn't find somebody to kick out of the 25 to push them in because they don't have many
they're playing good ball.
Impressive wins. They're good, but they're not playing these big teams.
They're very similar to Mercer, right? Maybe not the strongest schedule, but I'll go ahead and check them off the recap. They're at 31-7 right now.
I must say, do they have the best record in college baseball right now? D1 wise?
No, Tennessee.
Oh, but besides them. They're not. They're
they don't have the best record.
So they have the second best record in D1 baseball.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
outside of the Yankee juniors, fucking Tennessee.
No, Yankees are trash.
Well, yeah, we don't talk about the Yankees on this podcast. So Travis, how'd the top 25 do?
Well, boys, I'm gonna go ahead and touch on just
only 6 losses,
most of the series and the Power 5 stuff. And then a couple of notable ones that are not in the Power 5. So let's burn this down. Louisville wins a sandwich series against NC State. So they win games 1 and 3. Tommy White heating back up, 18th multi-hit game of the year, hit 2 home runs each on Friday and Saturday. Virginia sweeps UNC at home in an elevator series. UVA trending back up. They get their first series victory since Wake Forest, while UNC plummeting. They've lost 5 ACC series in a row. Woof. Georgia Tech walked Duke off on Friday. Drew Compton hit a grand slam in the 7th and walked it off in the 10th for the rally. But Duke bounced back to win and take the series. They beat Georgia Tech in Atlanta for the first time since 2016 and hit the most hits in any ACC series they've ever had since 2017. Georgia Tech gave up 11, 8, and 15 runs. 34 runs on the weekend. It's not going well for the Yellow Jackets on the bump. Clemson hosted Florida State. They won that series, very close games. It was the no decision series, not a single starting pitcher, despite good outings from Messick and Bryce Hubbard. Not a single starting pitcher got a decision. Meanwhile, the Yinzers, the Pittsburgh Panthers, they went down to Miami and were 1 run away from beating Miami at Miami. They get walked off in game 1 in the 10th inning after 8 strong innings from Matt Gilbertson. Miami dominated game 2. They had 4 players with 3 RBIs each, but Pitt took the rubber game. Got their 5th win against the top 5 team in April, most ever. Last one's in the ACC. Virginia Tech swept Boston College. Wasn't actually a blowout, but the Hokies only outscored them by 7 runs on the weekend. And Notre Dame just dismantled Wake Forest. In games 1 and 2, they did have to come back and walk off the series in the sweep game. They scored their most runs in an ACC series since 1993. In the Big 12, the Cowboys thought they had the Horned Frogs eaten in game 1, winning 13-2, but those horns are sharp. They bounced back to win the series in Stillwater, moving to first place in the Big 12. Nobody saw that coming, except for Jowers. Okay, guys, who would win in a fight, a Longhorn or a Bear? Texas played bully ball against Baylor. They hit 14 home runs in the series, 4 coming from home run leader, Ivan Melendez. He's got 21, tied with Matt Coutney from Old Dominion. Maybe we'll be getting some Old Dominion folks on soon. The Sooners went boomer and made the Jayhawks wish they weren't in Kansas anymore. They swept Kansas with a 14-inning game 2. Little deja vu action. Blake Robertson had 11 hits and 11 RBIs in the series, as OU had 46 runs on 46 hits. Meanwhile, UC Irvine thought the weather was just too good in Los Angeles, so they paid a visit out to Kansas State, and the wind was blowing out. State's Dominic Johnson had 2 3-run home runs on Friday, 9 home runs hit in total on Saturday, bring the grand total for that series at 19 home runs in one series. Speaking of the weather, there was no mountain air in Lubbock, but there sure are complete games. West Virginia went to Texas Tech, dropped the series. Texas Tech got 2 complete games in one day from Andrew Morris and Brandon Birdsell. I'm sure they'll be on Benji's Bulldogs later. West Virginia put up 10 runs in the 9th inning on Sunday to avoid the sweep. Moving to the Big 10, not a lot to talk about there. Iowa did go to Rutgers and took the series, one on Friday and Saturday. Adam Nazar from Iowa, 11 strikeouts and has not walked a batter since April 9th. Rutgers avoided the series sweep to stay top the Big 10. Maryland dropped game 1 against Illinois 19-1. 5 different Illinois hit home run and the staff tossed a combined 2-hitter, but Maryland gets 8 gutsy innings from Big 10 strikeout leader Jason Sevakul, pretty sweet name, in the series clincher. And lastly, the Boilermakers get boiled. Purdue, one of the hottest starts in the nation, get swept by Belmont. Yikes. Yeah, not looking good for the Boilermakers. They are trending in the wrong direction. The Pac-12 on the West Coast, battle of the 48th state, and the bad man is back. You guys are going to like this one. Arizona State traveled to Tucson, and the Wildcats took the series 2-1 after Chase Davis hits a walk-off ding-dong on Friday night. Lands on top of the Terry Francona Hitting Center on Terry Francona's 63rd birthday. The celebration, though, might have pissed off the second base umpire. Unfortunately for Arizona head coach Chip Hale, that umpire was none other than White Goodman, also known as Jeffrey Messias, who tossed him on Sunday. So the bad man is back. Meanwhile, the Stanford Cardinal is flying. They go 3-1 on the weekend with 2 wins against San Diego State and split with Grand Canyon. UCLA drives up, takes care of business at Cal. Oregon State swept Washington. Cooper Jerpy punched out 12 in 6 innings before getting tagged for 3 runs. But Garrett Forrester walks it off on Friday, and then the rest of the series is a blowout. Oregon, baby, what is you doing? They dropped the series at home to Washington State. It was actually a hard-fought series. Friday and Sunday each took 10 innings to play, and Saturday's game was only decided by 2 runs. Last Power 5 conference, LSU gets the sweep at home against Mizzou. Nothing too much to say about that one. In the battle for last place in Mississippi, Ole Miss hosted Mississippi State. They take game 1 behind a complete game from Dylan DeLucia, but Miss State gets 18 hits in game 2, and Brad Cumbest came the best, hits the go-ahead run in the 11th inning of game 3 to get the series. This was a big one. Texas A&M called the Pigs. They win the series against Arkansas at home, another well-fought series. I have a lot to say about one of the Texas A&M pitchers later. Georgia went to Tuscaloosa, held back the Tide. They win the series. It was good for them to see Jonathan Cannon back. He gets the win on Saturday as the Bulldog pitching staff held the Tide to only 5 runs over the weekend. Finishing up here, guys, Auburn swept South Carolina. The reverse psychology worked. They get their first SEC sweep since Tennessee in 2019. Tennessee sweeps Florida in Gainesville, and then they wear Gator football helmets in the swamp. Florida was 1 strike away from avoiding the sweep in game 3 with a 4-1 lead and still lose 6-4 that game. It was very reminiscent of the Rangers World Series loss, the David Freese game. I know all my Texas boys remember that one. Tennessee becomes I remember you mentioned this earlier. I'm not going to talk about that again, but the first team in history to start SEC play 17-1. Vandy went into Lexington, take 2-3 from Kentucky, get a combined no from Miss Chris McIlvain, who tossed the first 7 innings, and Christian Little tossed the last 2. And then last, only notable ones, Wofford did beat Mercer 2-1 at Mercer. Another help for TJ in his series pick'em. Over in the AAC, Tulane beat ECU 2-1. I wanted to have that on our pick'em slate, and Brendan said no. Battle of the Army boys. Army beats Navy 2-1. There were some Ivy League rivalry games. Harvard went to Princeton and won 2-1. And in the Andy Bernard series, Dartmouth went to Cornell and took the series 2-1. A couple other ranked teams taking care of business. Gonzaga won their series 2-1. Georgia Southern swept South Alabama. Southern Miss swept Rice. And then the one team that did not, Dallas Baptist, drops the series to Southern Illinois at home. And that's what happened this weekend in college baseball.
No, sir. That is not all that happened.
Cute.
And there's more.
Iona beat Quinnipiac 6-1 on Saturday.
Let's go with the blowout.
Might I add, Quinnipiac swept NC State.
Iona's on the rise.
Iona is better than NC State.
Is Iona better than NC State?
I think this qualifies Iona in a tournament spot. No,
Absolutely. Yeah.
2 wins? What, they're 2-37?
Three. Put some respect
they
on
won
that
2
name.
in a row, didn't they?
We can now
They went on a
talk
little win
about
streak.
we can now talk about games plural, Eric. Alrighty.
Nice
well, I
catch.
mentioned
Watching, huh?
Brennan, you're never fucking doing a midweek or weekend run.
Yeah, it's fine. You don't have to be a fucking talkbag about it.
Jesus.
Anyways,
This is really just the
A
Travis.
bag of
how
God,
are you gonna run? How are you gonna run the
commentators.
Iona watch and not even know how many games they won?
Yeah.
Actually,
muted.
He's like, wait, did they?
Wait, three?
All right. Well, I mentioned some players there, but let Eric, you want to take us into who our player of the week submissions are?
Yeah, so let's get this cracking for handing out our first award of the pod. So the player of the week that I want to mention is none other than somebody that Danny Sue just talked about. Ryan Gardino goes 10 for 14 over the weekend in one series with 7 home runs.
You had
Which is
no
just
idea who he was.
absolutely
Until
nutty. Such
no,
a
I had no
cop-out.
idea.
You
I
had
had
no
no idea.
idea who he
I'm gonna be
was
honest,
until 15
I
minutes
never.
ago.
Yeah, no, I didn't. But,
If you see
know,
those
going-
stats, you have to include him in the player.
I was doing
Yeah.
I was doing my
Yes,
research for
have to.
everything this week.
Eric does not win. Danny wins.
No, but
if we
no,
choose.
but I can't. I'm not going to pick my own player, and I. So,
So
I,
that's
honestly,
Danny. So
I
you're
didn't even-
designating Danny for his player of the weekend submission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm stealing Danny's,
There we go.
putting him out there for the pod.
There we
Eric is
go.
the surrogate for Danny's submission for player
Yeah.
of the week.
So who's
Submissive
bringing me their
hamburger.
first submission?
I'll go first because mine's probably not the most exciting.
Well, on that,
Wah,
not the first time we've done that, huh?
Dalton Sheffield, Texas State, went 8 for 12, 7 runs scored, 3 RBIs. He had 3 doubles and 2 triples on the weekend with 2 walks as well. So just
Yeah,
pretty impressive
It's a
run.
great
So,
outing.
did you see how what their final score on Saturday was?
Yeah, it was like 30-4.
Put up 30 runs.
Yeah.
Baseball game.
30-4. Dude, in that game, he went 5 for 5 with 4 runs, 3 RBIs, 2 doubles, and a triple.
Yeah, 30 runs is a lot of runs.
Dude was an animal.
Unwritten rules in college baseball. If you're up by 20, you got to keep putting the pedal to the metal, baby.
For real.
My player of the weekend was Alabama's starting pitcher, Grayson Hitt. He struck out 7 in 6 innings and allowed 2 hits and 0 earned runs against a very good Georgia Bulldog team.
I'll go with mine. I got Michael Carrico from Davidson. He went 5 for 11 with 2 home runs, 3 doubles, and 4 RBIs. He's second in the nation in on-base percentage at .578. So shout out to Davidson Bulldogs.
Are we
Five
Davidson pod now?
78.
Do what?
Can we call ourselves a Davidson pod now?
I mean,
Yes.
we could have been a Davidson pod.
Oh yeah, we've been
Brought
in
on
Davidson
We've been in Davidson
for
pod.
a while.
We have been shouting them out. I mean, they've been having a fantastic
Yeah,
season.
they're killing shit.
They're rolling.
Oh,
Jowers,
yeah.
what was his batting average one more time?
It was on base percentage. And it was
On base percentage?
Yeah, it was 578. He's second in the nation.
578.
Best in the nation.
Dude, 578 is ridiculous.
That's what I would hit if I played for Davidson.
Yeah, he's second right now, I believe, if my sheet is still correct. Yeah, second only to Sonny DeChara in OPS. So he's pretty crazy stuff.
So my player of the week is going to be Justin Campbell. He pitched 8 great innings with 14 Ks. 11 of those were swings and misses against a very streaky TCU team this weekend.
He's been really solid all year this year.
That's a good
He's
one.
been my player of the week a couple times.
Oh, and it was the most in a Big 12 conference game this season.
It's pretty cool. Player of the weekend for me. You guys know I love when pitchers like do the mad bum thing. So in the Texas A&M Arkansas series, Jacob Palish did his best Quinn Matthews impression. He dropped his nuts in Bluebell Park all over the Razorbacks. Gets the win on Friday. Throws 5 solid innings, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. A&M drops game 2, right? So going into Sunday's the series decider. And typically use a Friday arm out of the bullpen. We've seen this, a couple times now from Quinn Matthews, but really nowhere else in the nation, as far as I'm aware. So A&M gets out to a 9-1 lead and starts pissing it away. The Razorbacks start knocking on the door, and it gets to 11-8 with the bases loaded and no outs in the 8th inning. Schlossnagel, now the coach at A&M coming from TCU, goes to Palish and brings him in the 8th inning. Again, bases loaded, no outs. Palish gives up a 2-run single, the first batter. So it's 11-10 now. And then he strikes out the side, gets 3 strikeouts to strand 2 runners, games 11-10. And then he goes up to Schlossnagel and goes, I got the 9th. Goes out, gets the 9th, 2 innings save to beat the Razorbacks. Love to see that when a pitcher, multi-tool pocket knife right there, a save and a win in one series. I always love to see that. So Jacob Palish gets my player of the weekend nomination.
I'm torn between Brennan's most strikeouts in a Big 12 game so far and a dude absolutely just dropping dick on the mound against an top 5 Arkansas team.
Well, we can just go ahead and give this one to Danny. I know you can. I'm going to give you permission to give that award because it wasn't actually your player.
I mean, so I guess we'll have our guest Danny Sugis picking the guy that goes 10 for 14 with 7 home runs, which is absolutely nutty, as our player of the week. And then our runner-up will be the guy dropping dick at A&M.
All right,
that's the player of the week.
Tell your dad he got an award.
Yeah, the Danny Sugis
He got a Sack Boy award.
1 for 1. All right, who wants to go next?
Well, I guess I will because Travis accidentally splurged it during the Boomer Sooner recap, which was 11-11, which is OU's Blake Robertson. He had 11 hits and 11 RBIs in Oklahoma's series sweep against Kansas. 11 hits in a weekend series. That's more than 3 hits a game, which is just absurd.
Yeah, I hated to see it because I played Kansas in fantasy this week, and not that I would have done anything to beat Benji, but I thought they could play OU respectably, and they just got murdered,
demolished.
Yeah.
We're doing stat, right?
I guess so.
All right, I guess we're doing stat. Mine, good old Danny Boy will love because it's UNLV again.
Ooh.
My number is 13, which is their average runs scored in the last 5 games they've played, which is from their midweek and weekend. They've scored 13 in the last 8 games. They've scored 12.875 runs. So over an 8-game span, they're still consistently scoring 13 runs a game, which is crazy.
Do you know, are they a 500 team? above 5.
They're 23 and 18, if I'm not mistaken.
So they're, but yeah,
The Georgia Tech of whatever their league is.
Yeah.
that's ridiculous though.
They're 17 and 4 in league play, though.
Holy what?
They're hot.
UNLV is 17 and 4 in the Mountain West Conference.
Ooh,
Wow. Yeah.
What a
They're
record.
28 and 13. Sorry, I had that backwards. They're 28 and 13.
Oh, so that's pretty good.
They're
That's-
really good. They're doing pretty solid this year.
Maybe
But they're not
series
having
win or
big.
two.
Yeah, they're not having big
Yeah, big
series
wins.
Like
I mean,
they're-
Mountain West, yeah. It's
they're
not a whole lot of teams out there.
Air Force, San Diego State, Cal Poly, Michigan State. They dropped 3 out of 4 at the beginning of the season. That's 3 out of 4 losses.
So they had a shitty beginning of the year, basically.
Yeah. San Jose State, New Mexico. So yeah. So yeah,
Gotcha.
13 is the average run scored in the last 5 games from UNLV.
Nice.
I'll follow up Benji picking from the exact same school, UNLV.
Oh,
My stat is 0.59. And that is the amount of doubles. The amount of doubles per game from UNLV's Joey Wall. He has 22 doubles in 37 games.
dang.
So that's pretty sweet.
That was my.
Is
running-up
this
stat,
a
actually.
UNLV pod?
Yeah, we're in every team that we ever talk about, Pod.
Just state it now.
Kind of goes back to the whole we're a college baseball pod.
All right, my stat 19. That right, like I said, the number of home runs hit in one series in the UCI Kansas State game. Sorry, if you break that down, like that's like 6 home runs hit per game, basically, which is an insane amount of home runs.
That's fun baseball.
Imagine being in the outfield, like trying to catch a ball. It's pretty good odds,
Yeah.
especially for a number of people at a Kansas State game. I mean, I imagine.
So speaking of fun baseball, here's not fun baseball. My number is coming from Campbell University by the form of Thomas Harrington. 65 innings pitched, 93 strikeouts, 12 base on balls, and a 1.25 ERA. Out of the top 50 best pitchers based on ERA in the country, he has the most innings pitched out of anyone and the lowest ERA.
I love that because you guys remember when I wrote that blog on pitchers to watch way back in like the first or second week. Thomas Harrington was my number 1 pitcher.
Yep.
And in my little made up stat on the
What a
leaderboard-
fucking call, Travis.
Yeah. In my made up statistic, there's only 3 pitchers ahead of him in Ks per inning minus walks and hits per inning. So Chase Dollander, he's got a 1.96, Cooper Jerpy 1.92, Parker Messick 1.80, and then Harrington's right there 1.72. Campbell's actually the next pitcher from Oklahoma State. So, I mean, Harrington's up there doing it with all the other premier arms in the country. You just don't hear as much about him because he goes to Campbell.
That blog was probably the best thing we've ever had on our website.
That was
It
was
was
Nolan.
spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did so good on that. It's kind of mind blowing.
I think the
Appreciate
Shriners
it.
Classic blog was the best.
The TikTok was the best.
Nope, it wasn't.
No, the blog was the best.
You're welcome, baby girl.
Well, so my stat, I thought this was really interesting because, I would think if you're a team that has the number 1 hitter in batting average, you maybe like spreads around some knowledge and the rest of your team starts to hit. But my number is 47, being the difference in rank between where Sonny DiChiara falls on the individual batting average and where Auburn falls on the team batting average of rankings.
Time
Sonny
out here.
DiChiara's.
Weren't you the one that said hitting is contagious?
Yes,
Ooh.
I am. And it is. But apparently
Oh,
not
it
in
seems
Auburn.
to not be.
To be fair, Auburn might be vaccinated.
Everybody but Sonny DiChiara is vaccinated for hitting.
Can't
But
catch
Sonny
you dead.
DiChiara-
that is not confirmed. Quotas.
Sonny DiChiara is
Oh.
absolutely carrying Auburn's team batting average because he's hitting 447 on the year, and Auburn's only hitting as a team 296. There are
That's
40.
still pretty fucking good, though.
Did you say 47? Dude, that's 147 points.
He said
Yeah, he's
ranking
hitting-
difference in rankings.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I thought you said
Sonny
points, like
DiChiara is
average.
number 1 in individual
Yeah.
batting average rankings. Auburn is 48.
Yeah, so he's
team batting
he's
average.
carrying their
That's crazy.
that's nuts.
I bet Juan Soto is number 1 in OBP, and the Nationals are number
Oh, for
30.
sure.
Yeah, 30th.
Probably.
But yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. I think I'm gonna get to go with Brennan on this one. A little bit of toot my own horn with the Harrington, but don't gloss over the fact that he's the ERA leader with the most number of innings pitched. All right, if you guys remember the Cy Young voting for last year in the National League, like everybody was picking Wheeler to win because he had such a great season and so many innings thrown. And then, Burns came in and was more dominant in fewer innings, but look who's back. Give him his award, Stooges.
Okay, we have an announcement.
Oh, all right.
Live on the pod.
Yes, you do it.
Okay,
Before.
live on the pod, Gardino's dad and Danny were texting, and he said Gardino's son, Gardino's son,
The Gardino.
the player of the week.
The great Gardino.
He was
Yes.
Oh, hear me out. He was the NCAA player of the week this week, and he will hop on our podcast. Confirmed.
Let's
Even
go.
better than being the NCAA
Let's
player of the week. He's
go.
the sack boy player
Danny,
of the week.
Danny boy coming in clutch.
You should tell him he won the award for our award for best player of the week. Tell Danny.
Danny, you won the
Sack.
you won the
boy.
player of the weekend. The Sack Pod player of the weekend. You won.
Thank you. See you game tomorrow night. Are y'all doing it Wednesday night?
He's got a game tomorrow night, so we'll
Can you
figure out his schedule and go from there.
I will
Perfect.
do it literally whenever.
What
Let's
he said.
go.
Dan the man, right there.
Dan the man.
Make
Well,
shit happen.
legend.
Fucking go, bro.
All right. So that was Danny Stooges, the
Dude,
interview guest earlier
NCAA
tonight.
NCAA player of the week.
So where were we?
Thomas
I think we're
Harrington.
going in. I think you picked your stat.
Yeah, I was just saying that the value of being the ERA leader at the greatest number of innings is really something to note. So great job, Brennan.
So we will go right into mine, I guess. TJ's Twisted Takes. Don't worry. Got my tweet right here.
Do you have the list of last week's?
I deleted them.
I've got them if you want to go over them.
I know that I won.
You did win. So Melendez, you predicted that he would retake the home run lead this weekend. He did. He is in share of the home run lead with the player from Old Dominion at 21 home runs.
Fun fact, Old Dominion guy is technically in the lead because he has 2 less games played.
Okay.
No.
How many home runs has he hit?
21.
Yeah, we're not counting home runs per game. So
I won.
Benji,
I said Virginia Tech would go 5-0 on the week, and they went 5-0 on the week.
Yeah, actually, you said they
First
wouldn't.
win.
You said they wouldn't lose until the UVA series. So I think you got one more game.
Oh, I got one more. I
Yeah.
thought I went to Sunday. Sorry.
I think one more game for
Yeah,
you.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Eric's busted very quickly. His among other things.
I know how that feels.
Yeah.
Every time.
He did predict that Georgia Southern would not lose a midweek game the rest of the year. First midweek game. Dropped
A
at the
very
first.
hard fought midweek game.
It was a close game, but it was in fact a loss. And then,
As Coach Waz would say, still a loss. It doesn't matter.
No one
Yeah.
cares if you suck.
yeah, West Carroll. Unfortunately, mine didn't hit either. I predicted that Georgia Tech would sweep Duke. They did have a field day with their pitching staff, like I said they would, but Duke also had a field day with ours. I also predicted that Georgia Tech would move into the home run lead for team home run lead. And while they did hit a shitload of home runs, so did Virginia Tech and Old Dominion. So it's a very close race at the top 4. But Georgia Tech is still in 4th, I believe.
Yeah. So I guess we'll get into this week's.
Oh, that sounded so much better than the ASMR.
LSU sweeps Georgia.
Okay.
Right
Wow.
off the ripper there. Holy shit. Okay. Dumb, but I'll take it. Next one.
The big OHIO Ohio State Buckeyes are going to play Rutgers this weekend and win because Rutgers is a pretender.
God, you hate Rutgers so much.
They did drop the series at home to Iowa.
Yeah.
And lost to an Ivy League school.
Although I would say that's still fairly bold because Ohio State is absolute garbage. I think they're like one of the last teams in the Big Ten, and they just lost the series to Michigan.
Piss.
Yeah.
My bold take is with Southern Miss. They are 19-1 in their last 20 games, I believe. 19-1 in the last 20 games. So they're hot. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say they hit a cold streak. And I'm predicting they're going to lose the next 3 out of 4 games. Their midweek game is at Southeastern Louisiana, and their weekend series is at UAB. So I think that they drop the ball this week.
Do you realize that both of those teams suck pretty badly?
Yes, but it's college baseball, and we've seen anything can happen.
They're playing Alabama Iona.
The Iona College of Alabama.
Do you just find the most obscure shit in
You
just
guys
say
might
it?
be saying this, and then it might come alive.
This is the twisted takes, and I'd say that's pretty twisted.
Yeah, but as we
Okay,
said from day
Siege's-
one that it's not.
Well,
it's not.
But
what is it not?
would you guys okay? Would
What's
you
the
guys
two
ever
teams?
think UAB is a
And
3-week or a
Southeastern
3-game series in Southeastern Louisiana, all away? But would you guys like okay? Let's say 20 games ago, would you say Southern Miss would go 19-1? Would anybody here think that?
I wouldn't discredit it because Southern Miss has been pretty good the past couple of years.
They're throwing out freaking dudes throwing 97 on Sunday.
Yeah, I wouldn't
That's
dismiss it,
insane.
but I wouldn't have jumped on it.
They're playing like Tennessee right now, and I just think it just hits a slump. It's got to.
All right, so you're gonna call
has lost to
Southern Miss
Charlotte,
pretenders real
who
quick?
is
I'm gonna no,
worse than
I'm not
Southern
calling them
Miss. Old
pretenders.
Dominion, who's worse than Southern Miss.
That's an interesting one. Okay, Ben,
Middle
what do you got?
Tennessee. who's
So
worse.
my super hot take, it's not super hot, honestly. I'm gonna say that Tennessee scores 35 plus on Auburn this weekend.
Oh, I believe that. I would take
yeah.
the whatever the over is on that series. I'll bet the over.
I'm gonna say
I like- I
35,
really do like
35
that one.
plus.
I do like that one.
I
Travis,
think Auburn takes one from them.
you already had your bold take, and
So,
that's even dumber than your
LSU
first one.
sweeps.
Yeah,
Travis, yours?
why? I don't believe in LSU, and Georgia's looking much better now that they got Jonathan Cannon back.
Doesn't matter. Jacob Bear is going for 3 dongs.
Okay, that's 3 runs.
Yeah.
That's all they'll need.
All right.
That is
Okay.
3
that
runs to
is-
decide this series.
This gets
1-0,
bolder
1-0.
and bolder every time.
Every week.
Yeah. not with
Alabama
LSU.
or LSU sweeps. LSU only scores 3 runs and sweeps.
And
Uh,
Auburn takes one from Tennessee.
Yeah.
All right,
So
yeah.
my bold prediction this week, the University of Pittsburgh. I live about 10 minutes away from them. If anybody has been watching, they're actually heating up in a pretty major way. This weekend, I don't know why, but they play NC, North Carolina, AT&T. I guess that means some sort of agricultural school and not the major United States phone carrier. I think they.
Oh, dude, that's a good one,
little
Travis.
slow on the uptake there. I think they sweep North Carolina AT&T and kick off a run to qualify for the NCAA tournament. Right now, they're sitting at 52 in ELO and 41 in RPI. Their last stretch of ACC series, they beat Clemson. They beat Clemson so badly they made them cancel the 3rd game, if you remember. They beat Louisville, beat Boston College, beat Virginia, and they just played a really good series at Miami where they took a game and game 1 went into extras. So
And they lost 17-2 in the second game.
in Saturday, they got absolutely absolutely
Hey,
slapped
shit
on.
happens. Shit happens, Benji.
But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah.
They got bitch slapped on Saturday. But you know what? That was still a close series. They won the other game and were very close to the other one. So I think they sweep this weekend at NCAT&T, and I think Pitt's gonna make some moves here in the next couple of weeks. They got to I can't decide if it's a tough ACC series coming up. They've got Duke, which can either sweep Notre Dame, and they beat Georgia Tech, but they look like hot garbage at the start of the season. Notre Dame, which just swept Wake Forest in a pretty major way, but got swept by Duke, and Georgia Tech, which can give up 34 runs to anybody who fogs up a mirror. So
I'd be doing that a lot. So before I say mine, I'm just gonna pick mine because I'm not gonna choose my own. I'm gonna go with Eric over there and his take. Gonna be completely honest, I don't remember exactly what it was.
Rutgers
loses to Ohio State.
Never mind. I'm not taking Eric.
He picked.
Nope.
Oh,
sorry.
dude.
That was a little twisted there, huh?
What?
Did you just pick somebody you didn't even know what they said?
Because he couldn't pick me.
Because I thought, because I thought at one point I said, "Oh, I like that," but I realized it was Benji. You guys are both wearing red shirts.
Well, what did Benji say?
They are matching. They're fucking matching. That's true.
Mine was at Tennessee scoring 35 plus in Auburn.
And I like that.
Well, since we talked here a little bit, we should do a quick fit check.
I also do like the Pitt series, so I'm gonna take Travis as the runner-up.
So did I win or did Eric win?
No, you won.
Okay, all right.
But I'm gonna say mine before we do our fit check. So mine, obviously, I can't pick myself, so I went more way out on a limb. Tennessee will only lose a maximum of 4 games the rest of the regular season.
That's a lot.
Finishing with a record of 49-7. They got a series or midweek against Xavier, series against Auburn, series against Kentucky, and then the only one I'm like semi worried about is the series against Georgia. I don't think they're going to lose a series to Georgia, but I think Georgia is playing super good baseball to where that they could take 1, potentially 2, and then they finish it off with Mississippi.
So you're allotting pretty much a loss a weekend just in case.
Yes,
roughly.
Yeah.
So you must think these Tennessee guys are pretty good at baseball, huh?
Sure.
Yeah, I think my take would say that Tennessee is pretty good baseball. I also would think that their 37-3 record would also back up that they are not pretenders, Sujas, and they are pretty good at baseball.
Also, y'all are talking about these Georgia people like they didn't get 23 put on them by Texas A&M, drop that series, lose to Clemson 4-8, and then only scored 7 runs against Bama.
Get him, Brennan. Get him, baby.
But how did that Bama series turn out?
They dropped 1. They got shut out by Alabama.
Yeah, they got shut out by.
So you're admitting that it's going to take
weekend.
more than 3 runs to win a series, essentially.
All it takes is 7, apparently.
Shit.
So I just don't know your logic sometimes, man. But
the only man that can stop Tennessee is Jeffrey Macias or White Goodman.
Not as hot as you think, man. LSU's heating up, baby.
LSU.
We doing contender pretender?
Wow, we're so far removed from Brennan predicting that LSU would drop 2 or 3 of their series in a row.
Hey, and I hit that hard.
Yeah, you did. All right, yeah. Let's get to it.
Listen, I gotta piss like a Russian racehorse, so we gotta fucking.
I still got my
Go right
Bulldogs
now.
too.
Go right now.
Well, everybody else will do their.
You'll be the last.
Yeah, we'll refresh you.
Brennan, let's hear yours first, buddy. What do you got to say?
So my pretender is going to be Notre Dame. Sorry, Benji. Just they're too hot, they're too cold.
Shit on them so much.
Notre Dame, fuck Notre Dame since 1969.
They're 26-8. What is so bad about them?
They're back. They legitimately suck.
Wake Forest sweep.
They
either get swept by Duke or they put up 75 runs a week. You can't have that whenever it comes time for the end of the season.
They've flopped a couple
26-8.
times.
You
They've
can't
flopped
do
a couple
you can't
times.
do that in
But
a tournament. They'll host.
They're consistent.
They'll lose their regional, and
This is why last weekend when I talked about Notre Dame, I specifically didn't say they were a pretender or a contender because, like, and to be honest, like when they get to the tournament, the way they're playing, right, they're number 2 in RPI. They have a very good chance of hosting a super regional, and like if I was a betting man, I think I would bet on somebody to be able to upset Notre Dame because you literally don't know when you walk into the ballpark if you're going to see one of the best teams in the country or one of the dog shit worst teams in the country. Like they have both in, like, you know what I mean, Benji? So
Yeah,
I don't say that. I don't think they're a pretender, but I also don't think they're a contender. They're like, you just don't know what you're
They
going to
have
get.
dropped 2 big series to Louisville and Duke. I definitely agree with that.
In like heinous ways, but then you'll go in and sweep.
They bounce
Florida
back.
State, and then they sweep Wake Forest in like a major way.
Yeah,
So,
and Clemson as well in there as well.
And then I'm going to take my contender as Louisville.
Nice.
I think I said last week that they can't play against decent pitching, and I think this weekend proved it. And I think they're only going to get hotter.
Eric, what you got, man?
So my contender is going to be the TCU Horned Frogs. They're getting hot right now. They swept Texas Tech, beat Oklahoma State
in Stillwater,
and they're in Stillwater. They're out hitting their opponents in every single measurable stat except for hit by pitch. And I think they have solid enough pitching that can carry them into a deep run. My pretender.
That's not what any of you guys said last week, and I just want to say that. So,
yeah, no, I picked TCU to win that series. And then my pretender,
great, but I had to go with Oklahoma State.
He said, "Fuck off, Jaros."
Once again, 2 weeks in a row, pretender, none other than the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. I said last week they haven't played a powerhouse team, they haven't played any big schools, and they drop a series to Iowa, who, if you remember, lost to a D3 team earlier in the year.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of puts a cap on the Rutgers as a pretender.
You said earlier in the year. What that has nothing to do with now.
It was like 3-4 weeks ago. Iowa lost to a D3 team and then came to Rutgers and swept them.
Okay, so
2 out of 3.
They lost the series 2-1.
So Tennessee losing to a shitty Tennessee Tech team.
Not that shitty when you got a guy that hits 7 home runs in one series.
Sorry.
Oh, they are like top 10 in home runs hit.
Yeah, but
great Gardino. Am I saying it right?
I don't know where your logic comes from.
Yeah, Gardino.
Is that Rutgers hasn't played anybody?
I wonder, what are those
dog shit, dude? I can go get something in my toilet right now that plays better than fucking Ohio State.
Yeah.
What are they? What are those? What are those Chex Mix like?
Muddy Buddies.
No.
Gorditos.
Gorditos. The cheesy Gordita crunch.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh fuck! I'm gonna DoorDash that shit right now.
No, Jesus. Those look like You know what I'm talking about?
Gorditos. The Gorditos Chex Mix.
So Cleveland Guardians.
If you don't shut the fuck up, I'm gonna throw this twisted tea at the goddamn screen.
So,
bro, you should thank me. You're ordering a Gordita right now.
I'm gonna ask Gardino if his favorite road trip snack is Gorditas. All right, Benji. Sorry.
If you watch this, Ryan, I promise that Tennessee Tech doesn't suck. I'm just trying to level with.
Wow.
My pretender is Southern Miss. I don't care how high they are on the rankings. They have not played anybody that's that great.
Thank you, Benji.
You guys shit on
Mercer.
They're kings.
Dude,
they're kings of the worst state in baseball.
They're going, if they make it to the College World Series, they're not going to do anything that great. I'm sorry. They also play Old Dominion in 2 weeks.
Ooh.
But okay, do you have Notre Dame as a contender or pretender?
I do not know.
Because I mean, Southern Miss is 32-8. It's not like they have it's like as dominant as almost Davidson. You know?
I understand that, but at least Notre Dame has beaten.
Yeah, Benji's not saying Southern Miss has
schools.
I mean, they beat Louisiana Tech. They beat Western Kentucky, which I believe is the team that got paint thinner put in their
Yes,
No.
which
is Wesleyan Kentucky or Western Kentucky?
It was
One of
Kentucky
those.
Wesleyan University.
My bad.
Kentucky Wesleyan.
They beat
I mean,
Tulane. They swept
Yes,
Rice.
they got swept by Dallas Baptist.
Hey, did you guys see that Cooper Chandler has one of the best sliders in college baseball per Stuff Plus? I'll have to go see if I can find that website. But carry on, Benji. I apologize.
But they did get swept by Dallas Baptist. And then they play Old Dominion in 2 weeks. I think if they win the series versus Old Dominion, I'll change my opinion. But from what I've seen, I think they are a pretender because I don't think they can play bigger schools.
They haven't lost more than 21 games since 2015.
That's cool, but have they done anything with those 21 wins?
No.
Yeah,
losses?
they almost win every single regional they're in.
Almost.
They don't
right?
go to the
But
finals.
they didn't win, right?
No,
Because they're not elite.
But
So,
they're not a
pretender.
bad team.
But then my contender, UNLV. I think everybody is overlooking them. I brought them up for the last 2 weeks. They are 28-13, like I said, 17-4 in their conference. Their only conference games left are conference games for the most part. But I think with how much that their hitters perform, I think they can overpower and at least make it somewhere in the College World Series. I'm not sure how far, but I think they can make it somewhere.
I mean,
So
they've got to
I'm interested
qualify for the Mountain West. It's like automatic berth for the tournament, right? If they have a conference tournament, there's no way they don't win that tournament, right? Like they're
Yeah.
gonna make it in the tournament.
Yeah.
The road to
So
Omaha tournament.
I think I'm interested to see how far they make it with that hitting that they have on their team.
So-
Their hitters are crazy.
So your argument that Southern Miss is a pretender, their RPI is 12. They haven't
Yeah.
played anybody. And then you have
Yeah.
UNLV
Because the
who's
people
at
that they have played
100.
is because they've lost. The people they have played that are good, they've lost to.
Oh, you're talking about UNLV who's at 100.
What do you mean they're at 100?
Their RPI is 100.
Which I don't think I don't think it should be.
Yeah.
I think that's why they're my contenders because I
Hey,
think that they should be higher than that.
Brennan,
That's the
to
point
be-
of pretender and contender.
To be fair, Southern Miss's strength of schedule is 86th in the country.
What's UNLV's?
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm sure it's worse.
Not so nice guy Benji's coming up.
167,
I'm
just ahead of yours truly, Iona at 168. No, we were just saying, I think that a credit.
Benji wants to know Southern Miss's qualified wins,
Can you back up
like credible
your mic?
wins,
like, yeah, I can do that.
like a ranked team.
Yeah, like Q1 wins.
You guys question mine so much, but nobody else is good to question.
No. I was agreeing with you, Benji, that 86th in strength of schedule is not
Pull up,
great.
fight me.
It'd
Um,
be
deal.
Bama, Tulane.
okay, so quadrant 1 wins. I believe that means like top,
It's like top 50, top 75. something like that.
they're 5-4, 8-2 against quadrant 2. So I mean they're dominant quadrants 2 through 4, and then 500 apiece pretty much against top tier teams.
When did this switch to algebra and we started talking about quadrants?
Baseball's is a numbers game, bro.
It is. That's why we have stats.
Baseball is a numbers game. That'd be the title of the podcast if it weren't for drop your nuts on the field or something like that.
UNLV is 3-4 versus quadrant 1 teams, 7-7 versus quadrant 2.
That makes a parabola.
Okay.
Do you even know what the fuck that means?
All right.
T83
You got the shape
My
right.
contenders.
Yeah.
My contenders are Oregon. I know they're just coming off of the series loss from Washington State. But I think that Coach Wise is going to rally the boys in their white practice shirts because they got the first of 5 games. It's not a series, but the first of 5 games that they take on Oregon State in the Civil War. And I do have a pretty solid bet with one of our viewers, Dylan. So I think that the boys are going to pull through. So they're going with my contender. My pretender, Mercer. Need I say more? They weren't what you guys. I didn't think they weren't what y'all hyped them up to be. I get it. They have a great record. They hadn't played anybody, and I think it showed this past weekend.
They played Georgia Tech and Georgia.
Sounds a little bit like Rutgers, if you ask me.
No. Okay.
Good record, hasn't played anybody. It's exactly what I said.
Okay.
Oh.
But Rutgers is gonna win. That's all I'm gonna say. I didn't.
Also, what I've been saying, but hey, whatever.
Listen, I'm a little drunk. My runner-up is Wake Forest, and I will take that on the chin because that was a tough series to watch, and I hyped them up a whole lot. And I don't think with them, because me and Benji had talked earlier in the year about how their schedule gets real rough towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And they're getting real rough.
Fucked.
They got UNC coming up as their final series, I know for a fact. So yeah, I would like to see them bounce back, but that sweep from Notre Dame, I don't think they're going to be able to recover from that. So those are my runner-ups, but yeah.
That's probably the best runner-up we've ever had right there for a pretender.
Yeah, I'll go. My pretender, I think everybody honestly probably could have seen it from the first weekend. It's Florida. They going through their schedule, they have been swept by Tennessee, which let's take a second and pause and also remark on the fact that Tennessee has now swept Florida and Vanderbilt and Ole Miss all on the road, which is wild. But they lost to Vanderbilt. They did beat Arkansas at home. They got swept by Georgia, lost to LSU at a time when LSU was ice cold. So it's not looking good. They're sitting at a total record of 23-17. They hit home runs. I think they're top 5 in the country in team home runs. But they just lost Hunter Barca for the season. Probably they're, in my opinion, Florida is.
That's a rough one to lose too.
Florida is dead, and it's not like their schedule eases up in the SEC.
Yeah.
So rip in peace to Florida. My contender, alma mater of both of my parents and my younger brother, Texas A&M. They have come on really, really hot. We talked about the Arkansas series, but they're coming off of series victories immediately before that. Who'd they just beat? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, they beat Georgia. Sorry. They beat Georgia. Going back through their schedule, they beat Kentucky, they did get beat by Alabama, but beat Auburn, beat LSU. That was one of the series that Brennan called. So they're making really good progress and playing really good baseball against Arkansas in particular. Their schedule coming up, they're going to Vandy, which is a winnable series based on how Vandy is playing. And then they have South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State, 3 of the worst teams in the SEC. So I think
South Carolina's going to beat them.
Yeah, I was going to say that South Carolina is.
No, it's the same thing. Well, I guess that's fair. It's so tough.
Yeah.
It's tough if I'm calling them a contender.
You got me so confused that you confused yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll have to watch out for that South Carolina being a stumbling block since A&M's a contender. But yeah, watch out for the Aggies. They started off so dead, and now they've really turned it on in a major way. So.
And I really would like to see them because I love watching them play baseball.
Yeah, Bluebell Park, one of the best venues in the country.
It's so
not that we really talk. Has everybody gone for contender?
Yes, except for me.
Okay,
but I can't.
No.
I'll let you go first.
All right, my contender goes to Davidson because Nolan and the boys are getting it done this year. And this weekend, though, they actually showed up with the bats more than they did the pitching, and they scored a combined 37 runs this weekend versus Rhode Island. And they're 31-7 on the year and 10-2 in conference play, which is just outstanding. And my pretender, I think, is going to surprise some of you.
Nothing surprises us anymore, buddy.
That is going to go to Georgia. I will give them this. They've been consistent the entire year. We've basically kept them in our top 25 floating around in between, 10 and 25 the whole year. But the problem that I see with Georgia is their next 3 series is against at LSU, at home against Vanderbilt, and at Tennessee. So I just have a feeling they're going to drop, 2 out of the 3 series, if not 3 out of the 3. I think it's going to be a really tough road. And that's going to show, how good of a ball club Georgia really is, because those 3 teams are very solid teams in the SEC. So, I mean, if they prove me wrong, Georgia is a badass team. If they can win 2 out of those 3 series to end their year,
So
Georgia, yep.
I'm happy you said that because that's what I wanted to talk about was Vandy's upcoming schedule. I don't know if you guys have seen it at all or paid attention to it.
Is it a gauntlet?
They played Texas A&M, Georgia, Arkansas, and then LSU.
Ooh,
That's their final 4 weeks, and it's it's at home for A&M, at Georgia, at Arkansas, and then at home for LSU. And I still think that with how they've been playing, they're going to lose 3 of the 4 series.
and they're already on a downtrend too, and then you have to play this competition.
Yeah, they've been struggling, and I think with the 4 series that they have coming up, those are going to be rough ones to see if they are actually. I don't want to call them a pretender right now, but I think this series, like Travis said, with versus A&M, will be the real the dictation of if they are or not. But
yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that series with how well A&M is playing, and Vanderbilt's kind of like a do or die time. Either gotta get going and carry it through, or kind of fold. Like, I mean, really, Mississippi State kind of like barely is hanging in by a thread after beating Ole Miss, but Ole Miss is officially dead. I think Florida's dead. Vanderbilt could be dead.
Yeah.
How many runs did Davidson do this week?
37.
You said 37? Well,
yeah,
Tennessee only put up 36 on Rhode Island. So
Davidson better than Tennessee, maybe.
Iona better than
know.
They're pitching. Davidson, their pitching outside of Nolan is still just incredible too. They've got a very good pitching staff.
Up by their offense too. I mean, it's not just Michael Carrico. They have multiple people that are.
I think they're
30 or 50 for
this week. This week I can't remember his name, but he's a reliever for Davidson, and he got 2 wins this week. And I think he pitched 7 shutout innings this weekend, and he got the 2 wins this week. So really incredible stuff from David. I didn't even see this coming.
Whose mic is thudding? Does anybody else hear that?
I think that was Suji. She was beating on the table.
Sorry, I got excited.
It'll be cool. Hopefully we can get Nolan and some of the boys on the podcast later in the season or after the season ends, just to kind of talk about it, because they have been. He said it in our bullpen interviews. This is the hottest start that they've had in school history, and since then they have continued.
Not let the brakes off.
They have been crushing it. So
well, speaking of phenomenal pitching, let's get into my Bulldogs. Good old Benji Bulldogs.
Let me pick the award for contender pretender, broski.
I'm sorry, I'll let you do that. My bad.
Real quick, let's wrap it up here with contender pretender. I'm going to give this one to Travis because I really like A&M and how they're on a hot streak. I necessarily don't like them as a university, but I love what they're doing right now on the field. So got to give it to you, Travis. And Flora is dog shit. Yep. There you go, man.
So speaking of dog shit, it's not dog shit. Benji's Bulldogs.
Complete games.
All right, so we're doing a little different this week. I'm going to let you guys be the voters. All right.
For the best one?
Yep. So for the best one. So I actually did not include Texas Tech. I'll be honest, I overlooked
Travis, you can calm down. I think he's going to tell us about them when we get to vote on them.
I think he's frozen.
I think he's
not. He's literally moving.
Oh, okay.
No, you don't have to come up with a.
So I have the Bulldogs.
Your mic's muted,
and I'm going to let you guys pick which one's the best. All right, but I did not include Texas Tech. I'll be honest, I overlooked one of the games due to the fact of them allowing 5 runs, or 4. I think it was 4 runs. So I didn't even see that game. But my first one, Florida Gulf Coast, Tyler Shuck had 9 innings pitched, 1 hit allowed, 1 walk, 11 Ks, 0 earned runs versus Stetson. All right. So 9 hits, no earned runs, 11 Ks. Good old boys from Iona. All right. Blake Helmstetter, I think that's how you say it. Helmstetter. 9 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run. All right. He gave 2 walks, 6 Ks. Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
He threw a CG.
Yep.
Just because he's from Iona, that's my vote.
Complete game. Iona, complete game. All right.
If he doesn't win, it's rigged.
Then we got we got more. We got more.
Tip of the
We got
cap
our
to
boy.
that one.
We got our boy at Evansville, Nick Smith. 7 innings pitched, no earned runs. It was a complete game. It was only 7 innings, but complete game, no earned runs, 1 walk, 2 hits allowed. And then the most impressive one, it was only 7 innings, but we had a perfect game thrown versus St. Peter's from Jake Noviello. I think that's how you say it. It's Noviello.
Noviello. It's Italian.
He only had 4 Ks, but perfect inning, man, or perfect game through 7. That's not bad. That's pretty solid gameplay.
If the game ends, that is when the game ends. It counts as a perfect game. CG, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. So we got Florida Gulf Coast, Tyler Shuck, Iona's Blake Helmstetter, Evansville's Nick Smith, and Fairfield's Jake Noviello's perfect game.
Benji, did you not see that Shimar Page of Grambling State also threw a 7-inning perfect game?
I did not see that. No.
That was the one I was talking about, Benji.
Yeah.
Damn it. It wasn't Gardner Webb. It was freaking Grambling.
Grambling State.
Oh,
13 strikeouts in 7 innings. Perfect game.
I feel like a piece of shit now.
Yeah, had one job.
I had one job.
Why don't we give them the duel? We can give them a duel.
No, because that's not even my vote. Mine is Nick Smith from Evansville.
Nick Smith from Evansville. You got 1 vote for that.
Write me down for Nick Smith.
All right, Eric.
I'm gonna go with. So I know we got love for the Evansville boys, but the 13K perfect game. I'm gonna go with him from Grambling. That's impressive on any level. So
I think that's the most statistically impressive one, but my vote goes good old Helmstetter, Iona Gales, only from the fact it was not the most like eye-popping complete game performance. But you have to know, as a pitcher for Iona that if you don't go the complete game, your win's going to get fucked. Your team's probably going to give up 15 runs in the 8th inning. So you really have to, when you get on the bump, like do it all yourself, and it's not easy to do.
How many strikeouts did he have? Did you say
4?
He had 6.
Oh, 6.
So defense was playing behind him.
He was. They're putting balls in play.
Yep. All right, Shooters, you're the deciding factor here.
I gotta say, this has got to be one of the best Bulldog, that we've had. But I gotta
of the 2 that we've had.
All right, I'm gonna call it a night. No,
I need a vote, man.
I gotta give mine to Noviello because I like his last name.
All right, so we got a perfect game. So with a vote of 2 to 1 to 1,
Noviello.
Evansville Nick Smith wins.
Let's go, baby.
Benji's Bulldog. All right.
Go Purple Aces.
So
I'm not upset with that.
Nick Smith from Evansville versus Indiana State. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 7 Ks.
Huge.
Nice.
Go Evansville. Where's our merch at?
It's actually in the dryer. So
did anybody? I did not compile the midweek games for this week, so I'm not
sure. There was really only 3 notable ones this week. There's going to be Oregon State, Georgia State, Georgia, and Virginia Old Dominion.
I thought I saw that Ole Miss and Mississippi State are actually playing a 4th game on Tuesday or tomorrow.
That is true. That's
Are
true.
they?
Yeah, It's not like they're not counting it in
for
SEC standings, but they're playing a 4th game.
How does it not count in SEC standings?
Well,
because it's just like Oklahoma played Oklahoma State in the midweek, and they didn't count that as conference. It's like kind of the same.
They only.
But it is weird that I don't think we've seen that all year, a 4-game series, especially
But
in
it's
the same
not.
conference.
It's just like an extra midweek game,
Yeah.
basically.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, any final thoughts, guys, or we can get out of here?
Southern Miss is on a 14 game burner. Benji, you're an idiot for saying they're a pretender. Good night.
All right.
Hey,
later, guys.
they're gonna miss, or they're gonna lose 3 out of the next 4.
Okay. All right. On that note, we'll catch you guys.
You guys have a
On
great day.
Thursday, we're gonna drop Danny Sieges' interview. Be looking for freaking the great Gardino soon. Hype as fuck about that. Keep you posted, guys. Later.
Go Tigers.